The CLA and the A3 are trying very hard to get new buyers into these brands looking for prestige and a little bit of fun.
There's a problem though. For similar money, you could also have this, the Honda Accord Coupe. And where I'd like a little more sensitivity, it has the qualities of my favorite German automobiles.
This CLA has the fun, has the aspirational sense of occasion you would hope if you're going to step up into one of these little German cars. This is the Audi A3, second generation of this car in the US. Now, of course, if you're outside the US, it is possible to get a smaller car in the A1, but here, this is the smallest Audi you can buy. And this car advertises the exact same base price as that CLA, $29,900, but of course, it's got an asterisk beside it because that doesn't even count getting it delivered to your local dealer.
I'm a huge Audi fan. I love most of their models. I also find the driving dynamics of most of their cars to be brilliant. So I'm bringing that love for Audi to the new A3.
This A3 is almost exactly the same size as the original A4 in the US. This base model also means you've got a 1.8 liter engine. If you want to get the 2 liter engine, you instantly wind up quattro. So for this comparison of front wheel drives, we only have the 1.8.
So we had to drive the new A3. We had to know what this car is like. Stylistically speaking, the Audi is the most buttoned down. It's got the giant corporate front end. The most notable thing about the A3 is the fine shoulder line that wraps right around into the rear spoiler, and I like the way the lights are designed, the rear tail lights. Other than that, you could mistake this car for a lot of others. There's no character here. It's just kind of entry-level welcome to Audi.
It has that family resemblance to everything else that Audi makes right now. Not necessarily a bad thing, it's also not exciting. It's an average-looking guy in a decently tailored suit.
The interior is very familiar. It's German, it's VW, it's Audi, it could be a number of different cars. The materials are great. I like the aluminum inserts here, they're creative. There's just not enough of it. The only real thing that makes it interesting is the screen that can be retracted into the instrument panel. And it's cool, but it's kind of a single party trick.
Once you close that down, which you can do anytime, you start to realize this is a remarkably simple interior. Money has been saved here. The thing is, these interior pieces, most of them don't feel any better than a $30,000 Volkswagen. And that's the place where you kind of want the Audi to be better, but at this price point, it can't. Yes, it has Audi's fantastic switchgear and the gauges and the interface. That's all excellent. In fact, Audi does that better than just about everybody. So unsurprisingly, because it is similar weight but the smallest engine, this is the slowest car here. Power is good. 0 to 60 in 7 or so seconds is not really a slow car, but you're not going to get wowed by it. You have to go into manual, you can put your foot into it and find the upper RPM. Then this little 1.8 has a little bit of power. This gearbox, which does Audi's forward for up, back for down, is the best gearbox of these three. This dual clutch does feel related to all of the really good dual clutches that you find in the VW family.
It's a 6-speed, but there's no paddles. Everything you do has to be with a lever, and at this price point, that's not okay. Mercedes is showing up Audi in that department. As with the CLA, there's really no point on the tach where you feel like the turbo kicks in hard. It's very progressive, and if you want more power out of this car, you'll bump up to the 2-liter engine. I do wish there was more power, but A3 is never going to pin you in your seat, especially with the 1.8. Having only 170 horsepower means you're going to be at the top of the tach most of the time if you're driving this car like we are on sporty mountain roads.
One great thing is that the chassis here is very small and it's pretty taut. So it feels like a decent car to chuck around. It's just not as agile as I hoped for. It is a little bit better than your average front-wheel drive car. But once you've stepped into a German prestige brand, I expect better than this.
What I'm looking for is something that's more precise. I'm getting a little worried. Here's the thing. I love how small and compact this car feels around me, but there's not a great feeling of how this car plants itself in the turns. It's missing almost entirely. The harder I'm driving this car, the less comfortable it gets and the less confidence I have.
It feels soft, it feels tall and a bit top heavy. It doesn't inspire me to want to push even harder than I am. The steering has kind of an average weight to it, but there's not a ton of information. Of course, it is an electric steering rack.
The steering is feeling like it's been shot with Novocaine. It still works, but you're not getting a lot of feeling there. Designing and building a front-wheel drive car that is a sharp driver's car is possible, and the A3 is not exhibiting that.
I look forward to the S or RS variations of this because I'm sure they'll be actually quite a lot of fun to rotate. This one has understeer and is just kind of bland. It's taut, you can tell this is a German car, but frankly, it could also just be a Jetta. The A3 is chuckable in corners mainly because it's small, not because it handles very well.
Now, the A3 is a fine car. It's an Audi after all. It's got that solid German feeling that I love. However, I'm coming away thinking this can't be your only car. If you want a fun car to really hammer on a mountain road, this can't be it.
The A3 is like that somewhat attractive and incredibly sweet girl your parents wanted you to date. And while there's nothing wrong with her, you just can't get excited.
Because it's an Audi, it's still top quality, but it isn't the driver's machine that you're looking for.
The A3 will do everything you need. You can say you own an Audi. It's nice, it's fine, it's not compelling. I don't care what marketing departments say. The range is ridiculous.
As much as I love German cars, I understand and I tend to agree with you.